All right, so let's talk about some style news here. Okay. So when I think about fashion, I am always thinking about it in terms of it being an art form. I'm thinking about it in terms of the innovation behind it, how it's marketed, what messages are we sending, and I mean, it's art to me. It's art. It's a lot of fun. What can I say? So anyway, as we were prepping for the show last week, this kind of came across my desk, and I wanted to share it with you. And it is and I'll share the article with you here on screen in a moment. But basically, it's a campaign for Alexander Wang, and Naomi Campbell is the model, and she poses nude for the spread. So I'll talk about kind of opinions a little bit later, but I want to show you what the advertisement is so that you go in with full knowledge and you see what it is that I'm talking about. So let me go ahead and share my screen again. Let's change over. Here we go. There she is, Queen Naomi. Okay. So we have a very, I'm going to actually zoom out a little bit. Yeah, there we go. So you can see the first picture here. So very edgy look. You can see that we've got spikes kind of literally like glued onto her body. Let me move this over here so I can make sure I'm seeing what you all are seeing too. Um, and when you look at this, I mean, these are individual spikes. She's not wearing mesh. These little spikes have actually been glued onto her with some type of adhesive, body adhesive. Okay. Um, so she's looking at you kind of straight in the eyes, very serious, not playing any games, right? And then we see some shorts, some denim, raw hem shorts with a belt here. So that's look number one. Now, this is when this first came across my desk, this is the first image I saw. Let me go ahead. I'm going to take my lower third off because I want you to see the whole thing. Check that out. I mean, well, Naomi all legs, like anyway. Um, but you see here, we've got her spikes going from head all the way to her ankles. And then we see kind of hanging out here, the little lovely purse kind of hanging out right here, right? And really beautiful shoes as well. All right, let's take a couple more looks. So here's another shot. So now we're seeing the back of her. So again, the top half of her body, we've got the spikes added all the way. And then we've got Alexander Wang's another handbag option. This one looks more casual. The shorts again, and the belt. And let me just see, I can't remember if there was, oh yeah, there is one more picture, kind of a side portrait of her. And she's kind of got this kind of mohawk razor edge wig um, that, is definitely kind of goes with that kind of like spiky, like I don't really care. I'm just kind of like rocking and edging and all that. So all the things. But I'm going to come back to this picture right here. So what I wanted to ask you is, what are your thoughts on brands and designers that incorporate n- nudity in their marketing? And I think they're going to be two sides of the spectrum here. People that are for it or people that are against it. So press if you want to put in the comment section, let me know, like, do you look at this and look at this as art, or do you look at this and do you take offense to it, And there's no, I will say this, there's no right or wrong. Um, and I know there are some nude marketing campaigns that are definitely more salacious than others. And I mean, if we think back to like the 80s, and this didn't really involve nudity, but it definitely had a lot of, adult connotation, kind of a sexual connotation to it, with Brooke Shields and Calvin Klein's. And there's nothing that comes between me and my Calvin Klein's. And that was figurative, really, and and literally, at the same time. That didn't. I don't. I'm trying to remember if she was Brooke Shields actually topless, and she was maybe covering her chest, and then it was just in the jeans. Maybe that's what it was. That was so long ago. I was a young girl then. But I do remember it, and there was just a lot of controversy about it, and I can understand from that aspect why it could be something that would be looked at as being offensive. On the other hand, you have nudity. I mean, gosh, there's nudity in art. There's been nudity in art for thousands of years. Okay. Um, and I'll tell you what my opinion is on this piece. I look at this as art. Um, I think it's very interesting, um, the concept of it. It's something that we really haven't seen before, or at least I haven't seen before from head to toe. Yeah, I've seen spikes on people. Sometimes they have it like on their face, um, and that's a fashion choice of theirs. But I've never really seen it in this realm. So I'm going to come back on screen here, but I want to get your opinion on when you see marketing campaigns like this, like where does it sit with you? And what is the message of the designer? Obviously, they want to stop you and catch your eye, right? So they want to catch your eye, but then also they're selling they're selling a product. In this case, it's purses, denim shorts, accessories, belts, and shoes, right? So we are seeing these strategically placed. Um, are your eyes going there first? Probably not. But I think the whole point of it, and is the same reaction that I had. It stops you. You're kind of scrolling along, mind your business. Okay, what's going on? This ad pops up. You're gonna stop and look at the ad. You may not know what the ad is for, like at first blush. It may take you a minute to kind of scroll or zoom in and be like, oh, there's a purse there. Oh, okay, I see they're advertising a purse. But it may take a moment to get there. But I think I definitely think that this is an expression of the creative direction for Alexander Wang. This is right up Alexander Wang's alley, to be honest. So, excuse me, no surprise with what we're seeing in the campaign. If anyone could pull it off, obviously Naomi Campbell, her body is banging. She's in her 50s and looks freaking amazing. She has a beautiful physique to pull off this specific look that they wanted, and she does model the pieces very beautifully. So for me, I give an applause on this, okay, because I think it was done well. I do think it was done well. It stopped you in your tracks. You're not exposing, there weren't any private parts that were fully exposed. Um, it adds that little bit of mystique to it, but it leaves you thinking, oh my gosh, like if you saw that ad again, I bet you will remember that it was for Alexander Wang. If you go into the department store and you see that purse beautifully kind of hanging up there waiting to be purchased by someone, you're going to look at that and remember, oh yeah, I saw that on Naomi. You know what? That's the point. Okay. So drop a comment and let me know what you are thinking about this ad. Again, is it something that you look as art? Is it something that does not really kind of jive with you? And I want to know why, genuinely. So make sure that you do that. And while you're watching, make sure to subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Click the like button as well. These YouTube algorithms are out here to get people, okay? Right? I want eyeballs on the show because I just have so much that I want to say and share. But make sure you click the like button if you're enjoying the content. And of course, drop your comments in. All right. So that's the first story from Hot Happenings. I've got another story for you. And let me see if I can cue this one up here. And this one came across my desk this morning. And I think, oh yeah, it wasn't across my desk. I was actually on the treadmill. When I was working out, reading kind of fashion news for the morning, I saw it. I was like, oh my goodness, I have to share this. I have to squeeze this in. All right. So if you are not familiar with this luxury handbag designer, Nancy Gonzalez, she is just that. She, for many years, her eponymous line, Nancy Gonzalez, she has designed some really, really beautiful handbags. And for those of you that do not know, I am a handbag fiend. I love, 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 love handbags. And luxury handbags are always just so fun and unique for me. I look at them as their own little pieces of art. And Nancy Gonzalez, she definitely fell in that realm. And I've actually curated a few of her bags for over the years for clients from time to time, if the aesthetic matched up as well as the price point, right? Because their bags are not cheap. But I came across this funny story. Well, I mean, it's not funny, it's serious. But to me, I'm not going to lie, I laughed. I was like, are you serious? And it's talking about her pleading guilty. I'm like, pleading guilty to what? So let's have a look here. And here she is, Mrs. Nancy Gonzalez, okay? So the headline reads, designer Nancy Gonzalez pleads guilty to smuggling exotic skin designer handbags. And I'm like, what? What is it? And then the byline, she faces up to 20 years in prison and hundreds of $1,000s in fines. And I'm like, what is this? This doesn't make any sense. She designs handbags. Why is she smuggling handbags in? So as I read the story, um, what's been going on, and this is happening in Florida. And mind you, she this happened earlier in the year, and in terms of her, I suppose, being arrested. I had no idea. This was all news to me. And what she pled guilty to was that she was illegally importing these handbags that were exotics. Okay, so your reptile skin, so your python, your snake skin. It says reptile skin, so probably lizard is probably in there. They don't mention croc or anything like that. But this lady was smuggling these into the States. So it's like, okay, why? And apparently the species, and they don't, oh yeah, here it is. Oh yeah, it is python. So python and caiman skins, that those species are protected by this convention on international trade in endangered species and wild fauna and flora. Okay, this is a global organization. So she got extradited from the US back to Colombia. And that happened earlier this year. And then a couple other individuals are being charged too. So apparently, this is what the prosecutors are alleging, is that she was using her relatives, friends, and employees, okay, to smuggle not one, not two, but hundreds of handbags and purses and totes here into the US, either on them, so they're coming through acting like, oh, this is my handbag, right? It's not packed, or checking it into their luggage, okay, on just normal commercial flights. So they went to straight to her showroom in New York and then were sold on to high-end retailers. Okay. So here it is. At the end of the day, we're coming down to money. So we'll come back to that in a moment. So she recently, this happened last just a few days before Thanksgiving, she did plead guilty to smuggling these exotics in. Again, my mind is still blown. And she's been in jail. It says she's been in jail for more than a year. So this must have happened last year. Um, she's been in jail for smuggling these things in, and all she had to do was get the proper paperwork, right? For samples and whatnot, and like everybody else does, because the players in the exotic space as of now are Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Fendi. They play in exotics, okay? But when you get an exotic handbag, it comes with paperwork. It comes with a paper trail, so you know where it's being sourced, and that specifically that it's not coming from an endangered species. So this article goes on to say that less than 1% of the bags that she imported into the U.S. Had didn't have the documentation. Um, but it said that they were farm raised, okay? That they weren't protected species, they were farm raised. And there are brands and designers that farm raise their exotics, so that they're not going to be, dipping into and altering kind of what's going on in nature outside of that. So it goes on to say that she's facing up to 5 years in prison on the conspiracy charge alone, okay? But also up to 20 and 20 years on each of the smuggling charges, okay? Look at here. She's 70 years old. Nancy, my love. What are we doing here? Seriously. So I had to share this story with you because again, it just blew my mind, and I said it was going to come back to money. So the reason why she was doing this was that so she wouldn't pay import taxes. Because look, exotics are expensive, okay? There are thousands upon thousands, scores of thousands of dollars, okay? These are not cheap handbags. So the taxes that you pay, you're paying to import them from wherever you're sourcing them from. And then when, you're selling to the retailer, they're charging sales tax. It all comes down to money. So for me, this is just kind of like, well, I'm not paying all this money in import taxes. And look, import taxes are expensive, okay? Like, I remember early on, there was a brand in Europe, in England, that I sometimes shop from them. And if you spend over a certain amount, you have to pay the import duty taxes. And I remember I bought all this stuff, and then I'm getting a message from DHL or somebody saying, "Oh, you got to pay $400 in import taxes." And I'm like, "What?" For like, $1,500 worth of stuff, whatever it was. It was so expensive. So that was like for $1,500 to pay $400 in import taxes. If you have these exotic handbags that are $30,000, so that's like an insane amount of money per bag. So this is clearly why she did it, and she pleaded guilty. So I'm going to be following this story because I just want to know, are they going to throw the book at her? Her not her prosecutors, her defense attorneys are saying that this is just purely like an administrative issue, and her penalty should not be that harsh. But I want your opinion. I would love to know what you think about this story. Do you think it's as ridiculous as I am? Because look, Nancy Gonzalez is a global brand. You find her stuff in Saks, Neiman's. When you run a business, you need to run the business legit. It has to be legitimate. You can't look, and she got caught, and the smuggling period was from 2017 to 2019. So it was for 2 years. And look, then we all know what happened in 2020. So that probably interrupted her operations, right? But I'm just like, are you kidding me? You are a whole 70 years old, okay? You're not a spring chicken, what I mean. You're not meaning you're not new to the game. What? Why are you doing this? And you're not only putting yourself at risk, but you put other people at risk as well. And I was surprised that she got her employees to do this. Like that is ethically, that is like not right. Look, if you're doing it with your family and friends, that's between you. But trying to get your employees, like I hope that she wasn't blackmailing them, telling them, well, if you don't do it, you're gonna lose your job or something like that. And I mean, when you come through customs, out of the country, you're coming in from a flight abroad, you've got to declare stuff. You have to declare stuff. And, they have the right to take your stuff away. They do. So can you imagine being an employee kind of going through that in your mind? You got this exotic handbag, which, you don't see on the street every single day. So it's not something that's very common. But then you're seeing, you're in the airport with this, and that is not yours, and it's going to end up in a showroom in New York, right, to be sold on to retailers. Come on. And they said she did hundreds of them. So they must have seen a pattern of people coming in from a certain location with these handbags that are theirs. And it just, something got flagged. And I'm sure they saw it, they saw the pattern, and then they watched as she and her team was smuggling these exotics, right? So drop me a comment in the comment section because I really want to know what you think about this story. I think it's hilarious. It's sad. I think it's really rather silly that this is not the way to go out. You build a legacy, a global legacy, and your last, or I don't know, she's getting up to 20 years per charge of not conspiracy, but oh yeah, conspiracy, bringing it in. Like seriously, she could spend the rest of her life in prison, and I'm sure she's got a whole family. That's just really, that's just really, really messed up. But there it is. This is what people will do for money. You should never let money lead. Okay. Work ethically, work in the best interests of others. It comes back to you tenfold. There's no reason that you are a global brand that is well known and you're smuggling in hundreds of handbags into the US. Just absolutely ridiculous. All right.